and welcome back to a chapter a day. It is Thursday, July the 11th. We are going to be reading Deuteronomy chapter 25. A lot of reiterations from Moses to the children of Israel concerning God's ordinances and instructions to them from way past. These are nothing new that they are hearing, but it's good to remind them, because they'll be moving on without him, and he wants them to get it right and to be blessed. So let's continue reading. If there be a controversy between men, and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face, according to his fault, by a certain number. 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed, lest if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall marry without the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him for wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders, and say, My husband's brother refuseth to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, So shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him that hath his shoe loosed. When men strive together one with another, and the wife of the one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and putteth forth her hand, and taketh him by the secrets, then thou shalt cut off her hand, thine eye shall not pity her. Thou shalt not have in thy bag divers weights, a great and a small. Thou shalt not have in thine house divers measures, a great and a small. But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. For all that do such things, and all that do unrighteously, are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Remember what Amalek did unto thee, by the way, when they were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, thou shalt not forget it. And that's the end of chapter 25. Not a long chapter today, and straightforward things. Some of them a bit strange sounding, truth be told. If men have a quarrel between themselves, and the one found to be guilty, he should be beaten, no more than 40 lashes, I guess. And you know, I grew up in Trinidad, and they used to have a time when they would punish people this way. Instead of incarceration or whatever else they did, they would whip them, give them lashes. And that's been since done away with. So they said no more than 40, because that might just be a little extreme beyond that. Again, if you have an ox that's treading out your corn or your wine press, whatever, don't muzzle him so he can't eat some of it. I mean, it's just like sometimes, I think we have workers, maybe I heard some restaurant workers aren't allowed to take home the food. What you gonna do with it? Sometimes they have families at home that can use it. Why not give it to them? There's a weird policy here in the United States about food that's left back from restaurants. You can't give it away to the poor. You can't give it away to the homeless. You can't give it away to your workers. You could prefer to take that thing and take it to a dumpster. Then they must go there and dig for it. I think that's just awful. That's just awful. This one with the wife and the brother of her husband is just odd to me. I don't know if I would have wanted that either. I don't know if all men agree to that, because sometimes there might have been a big age difference or something. It may not have been their preference, but they did make that, if the husband died and the wife didn't have a child before, this next brother was supposed to go in and take on his wife, his brother's wife, and have a child with her and bring up his brother's name. But if he refused to do so, then she had the right to go in public, unloose his shoelace, spit in his face, and tell him, hey, that's how a person who refuses to bring up his brother's seed should be. You know what? I'll leave that one alone. That one is just a little above my head. If two men are fighting and the wife of one tries to defend her husband and holds the other one by the privates, her hand was supposed to be cut off. And I know sometimes in defense we talk about that, when if a man is doing something to you and you want to defend yourself, you must grab him by the privates. I don't know. That's just nothing that I've ever wanted to do, truth be told. Perfect weights. You must not be crooked in your business dealings straight off. That's what I see. If something does not weigh right, don't have big and small weights. You're supposed to be fair. And I know a lot of times when I was growing up, shopkeepers sometimes may have done this, have unjust weights. Their weights were off balance, and they would weigh something out for you less than it was worth and charge you more than it was worth. But God will deal with them, or has dealt with them accordingly. And he told them the last thing. Amalek was a nation that did not treat the Israelites well when they came out of Egypt. They picked on the last set of people who were at the back of the group and killed them off. Yeah, they attacked them and killed them off because they were weary. And you know what they say, every man for himself and the devil takes the hindmost. Well, yeah, they were the devil. Picked out the people from behind, and God told them, you know what, when you all settle yourself, take your Amalek and annihilate them from under heaven. Don't forget. So I would tell you all who think God is just a God sitting up in heaven and all he does is wait for us to come to him. God is a God of judgment too. And even though we may not see it in our eyes now, it's coming. God is a God of judgment. So don't think that the things you do are not seen. A lot of people seem to think so, and I've even heard people boast, if I were doing the wrong thing, I would have been punished. You know what? God is so merciful still. Even though we do the wrong thing, he doesn't just swipe us up. And I think there's a verse in the Bible that says that men do things like this. I'm paraphrasing. Men think they get away with things because God's judgment is not swift. It's not swift to just, as soon as you do something, you get recompense for it right away. But you know what? Sometimes we get it over time. Sometimes it is swift. And sometimes, you know what? We will wait. We will see on judgment. When judgment day comes for us, we will see. So never think to yourself you got away with something. Trust me, it always comes back. And for the time I have lived in my life, I have come to realize that. I've seen it. The things that I know that I did that were wrong, and I did it anyway. I'm paying for it, or have paid for it, or will pay for it. So I try my best, as much as I am aware, to do right in God's sight, because I know God is a God of judgment as much as He's a God of love. So that's the end of our reading for today.